Welcome, everyone. I wanted to share some recommendations for herbs to use during the springtime. Herbs that will be helpful in averting allergies, cleansing your liver, which has an intimate connection to allergies, alleviating migraines, also connected to liver health, shedding winter weight, just lightening up, breaking up congestion in the body, and spring stuffiness, swelling, edema, kind of swollen fingers or ankles, as well as sparking up sluggish digestion. So come spring, our body starts metabolizing the fat that we have accumulated over the winter months. We naturally crave heavier, richer foods to build an insulating layer of fat during the winter time. And then as the days start getting longer and the weather starts getting warmer, the body begins releasing that fat and metabolizing that fat so that we won't be as insulated for the coming months ahead when it's going to be warm outside. So it's kind of similar to how your dog might be shedding its fur. We're lightening up to make space for that warmer weather. And in that process, our liver really does a lot of work this time of year. The liver is responsible for metabolizing all fat in the body and for detoxifying the body. And a lot of toxins like to hang out in our fat tissue because there isn't great circulation through the fat tissue. So the body's intelligence is kind of kept outside of there. And also, toxins are very similar in nature to the fat tissue. So it's an easy place to kind of camouflage themselves and hide out. As we begin metabolizing all this fat tissue, toxins are liberated. They have to come out of hiding. And so now the liver has the double duty of metabolizing the fat tissue and trying to detoxify the body, as well as the multitude of other things that it does, like creating and regulating hormones, helping to maintain bodily heat, all kinds of other important roles. The liver is a very busy organ. And so we can support the liver by using blood cleansing and liver cleansing herbs to help make its job easier. You also might notice it's one way that we can tell that the liver is taxed is when we're experiencing something like spring allergies. That's a sign that the liver is working overtime. Also, migraines or headaches in general are generally a sign that the liver is working under stress and could use some support. So luckily, there's a multitude of things that we can do to address this: diet and lifestyle stuff, a spring cleanse, which if you're interested in cleansing, you can go to indraholistic.com/cleanse to learn about my spring cleanse that I lead every year. And we can also lean into our herbal allies this time of year to support blood cleansing, liver cleansing, lightening up the body. So some of those herbs include my all-time favorite herb, dandelion. So both the leaf and the root are useful in liver cleansing and blood cleansing. And this plant is amazing. One of my teachers, Daisy Conway now, I think she is, said in my first herb class, she said the essence of herbal medicine is the dandelion. There is an entire industry built up around trying to destroy this plant, and yet it continues to live and thrive and provide all this medicine to humans. And medicine that we really need, especially in Western culture. Dandelion is a great source of the bitter taste, which is so potent in supporting liver health. The bitter taste encourages the liver to release bile, which serves to release fat, release toxins, and cleanse the blood, support blood cleansing. So dandelion leaf and root are great herbs to use this time of year. If you're using the leaf, which you can start to see popping up outside, and it's great if you can harvest the wild dandelion leaves, if you have a source that isn't sprayed by pesticides, which unfortunately many places endure. And so you can just, or you can buy the leaves in the grocery store, which is so funny because this plant is literally a weed that will grow anywhere, but we're paying for it in the grocery store because we want to poison our lawns to keep it off our lawns. But you can just take the leaves, chop them up, boil some water, then throw the leaves into the water after it's boiled and steep it. Put the lid on the pot and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes, and then strain off the liquid and drink it, and you'll get a nice bitter tasting tea. So it's not going to be yummy in flavor, but definitely the medicine is in the taste. So you don't want to sweeten it or try to disguise that taste. You want to just endure that bitter taste and know that it's working some magic in your body, cleansing your blood, cleansing your liver. It's going to help to clear up any skin issues that you have going on. There's a very intimate connection between the blood and the liver and the skin. So the dandelion is going to support all three of those in being healthy and vibrant. If you're using the dandelion root, I recommend using roots more in the fall time when that's where the medicine of the plant is, and in the springtime going more for the leaves because that's where the plant is putting its life force and energy. But if you are using the root, if that's what you have access to, you can put the root in a pot of water, bring it to a boil. Obviously, you're going to want to chop the root if it's not already chopped. And, I'd say maybe like a tablespoon or 2 to 4 to 8 cups of water. Same thing with the fresh herb, the leafy herb, about that ratio, give or take. And with the root, you're going to want to bring it to a boil and then low boil the roots in that water for about 20 minutes. And then you can let it steep for a little bit while it cools down, put the lid on and let it cool down. When I'm low boiling the herbs in the water for 20 minutes, I don't have the lid on. But then after it's done, I'll put the lid on to let it steep while it cools down, then strain it off and drink it. Again, it's not going to taste great, but part of the medicine is in that taste. Another wonderful herb that is coming out this time of year and great for the liver, great for purifying the blood, also has rich in minerals, can be good for thyroid health. And it's a bitter green herb that also isn't as vata aggravating as the other herbs are. If you're familiar with the doshas and what body type you are, if you're a vata type, adding a lot of bitters to the diet can be a little bit challenging for vatas because they already have many of the same qualities as the bitter taste going on. They tend to be cold and dry and light, and that's really what bitter brings into the body. Which makes it great for kaphas and pittas. Kaphas because of the lightness and the dryness, and pittas because it's cool, dry, and light. It's all these properties that are opposite of pitta. But for vatas, it can be a little tricky. And if you don't know your body type and you want to, you can go to indraholistic.com/quiz and take my free quiz to find out what your body type is. So for vata types, you're still going to want to bring in some bitter come the springtime, generally speaking, but you don't want to go for those really deep bitters like the pitta and kapha types do. And so nettles can be a sweet spot for you, where it's got some of that bitter taste and some of the cleansing action, but it's also nourishing. So with nettles, you can gather them yourself. Be careful if you do; they are stinging, so your fingers will get a very tingly feeling if you touch them barehanded, but you can harvest them carefully with gloves on and dry them or just use them fresh. And same preparation as the dandelion leaf. Add it to water that's been boiled and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes, then strain it and drink it. You can also probably pretty easily find nettle tea in your health food store or herb store, grocery store, wherever you shop for herbs. So dandelion, nettles. Another really great one this time of year is turmeric. Turmeric, again, has a bitter taste, and it's cleansing and purifying to both the blood and the liver. So this one you can just add in your cooking. Make sure that you're adding it to all your cooking dishes, or you can make a tea with it. I like to pair it with ginger, fresh ginger, and brew up a tea to both support pacifying kapha, sparking up digestion. We'll talk about ginger when we talk about the herbs that are good for the heaviness that's accumulated in the body. But yeah, ginger turmeric tea. So chopping up the fresh ginger, about 1-inch piece, putting it in maybe 4 cups of water, and bringing it to a boil and low boiling it for about 20 minutes. And then just before it's done cooking, adding the turmeric into the pot, and then turning it off, letting it steep, and straining it. And you can add a little bit of honey to sweeten it if you want, or you can just drink it as is and get more of that bitter taste. This is a really kapha pacifying tea. And we're coming into springtime is the kapha season. So this is a nice one to support healthy digestion and reduce heaviness in the body. Really good at reducing congestion in the head. If you're someone who struggles with spring allergies or just sinus congestion in general, you can drink this tea in the evening before bed, and it will help you to wake feeling fresh in the morning. If you want, if you want that recipe, I've got a whole recipe book with medicinal teas and medicinal foods, all broken down by the different body types. And you can go to indraholistic.com/recipes to download that free book. And it'll break down the instructions again for how to prepare that tea. So turmeric, another great herb for supporting the liver, averting allergies, alleviating migraines, cleansing the blood. Another good one is gentian. This is a Western herb, very strong bitter taste, very, very strong. It's a root. So you're going to prepare it like the other roots that I instructed, where you're going to low boil it for 20 minutes and drink it. The taste is intense. It is medicine. You're drinking medicine. So you're not going to want to sit down to a big cup of this, but a small cup, maybe a few tablespoons throughout the day. This is going to help to cool and cleanse the blood, support the liver in cleansing, and support the body in lightening up and shedding that excess winter fat. Guduchi is one of my favorite Ayurvedic herbs, and great for this time of year because it pacifies all 3 doshas. So it's good for all body types. It is an adaptogen, so it helps the body adapt to stressors. And this time of year, as we're changing seasons, vata naturally becomes aggravated because there's a change going on. And kapha does as well, because we're coming into this kapha season and we've got all this accumulated heaviness in the body. So Guduchi is nice in that it pacifies both, which is hard to do because vata and kapha are very opposite. It's also really cleansing to the liver and promotes skin health. It's blood cleansing, so it checks all the boxes. It also supports digestion, kind of ignites your digestive fire without aggravating pitta, which is also very rare for an herb to be able to do. Usually the herbs that really spark up digestion are spicy and heating, and they aggravate pitta. But Guduchi is nice in that it keeps all the doshas happy, and it imparts these wonderful medicinal attributes into the body. It's also going to help to alleviate migraines, to alleviate spring allergies. It'll support shedding excess winter weight, sluggish digestion, spring congestion. It boosts immunity. So Guduchi is probably my top herbal recommendation for this time of year. And you can order it on Amazon. I like Banyan Botanicals is a good source for Ayurvedic herbs. So you can order it through their website, banyanbotanicals.com, or just on Amazon. You can find Banyan's products there. Or if you have another source, Kotakal is another Kottokal, is another source of Ayurvedic herbs that is good for folks in the US. And I think they deliver abroad too. Banyan only serves the US, I believe, maybe Canada also, but they don't go internationally. So, and you spell Guduchi, Guduchi. Such a good herb for so many things, particularly liver health and detoxification, dealing with a liver that has been exposed to toxins for an extended period of time, alcoholism, drug use, environmental toxins, whatever it is. Also good for promoting hormone health because of how it cleanses and supports the liver. So if you're someone who struggles with hormone balance, this could be a good herb for you to look into. Yeah, and another good one that's very blood cleansing is garlic, fresh garlic. So using that in your cooking, I have a nice, if you download that recipe book I mentioned at indraholistic.com/recipes, I have a nice cleansing beet salad. And the salad dressing in there. Actually, that one might have wasabi as it might be a wasabi dressing. But if you go to indraholistic.com/salad, you can download all of my salad dressing recipes. And I have a really nice balsamic vinaigrette that is has a good helping of fresh garlic in it. And that dressing is so versatile. You can put it on pasta salad, you can put it on green salads, you can marinate vegetables that you're going to grill, you can marinate chicken and bake it with that mixture. So yeah, working fresh garlic into your diet is also going to be supportive to cleansing the blood and lightening the body up, stoking the digestive fire. So some other herbs that specifically are going to be supportive to digestion, shedding excess winter weight, pacifying kapha dosha in particular, and breaking up congestion anywhere in the body, really, but particularly in the head. Like I said, ginger is really a great herb for all three doshas, particularly excellent for kapha this time of year. So you can use that in your cooking. You can also, like I said, make that ginger turmeric tea or just a plain ginger tea. Just prepare it as I instructed with the ginger turmeric tea, but leave the turmeric out. You can also just even grate some fresh ginger into your water, into your hot water, and sip on that throughout the day. You can do a ginger lime pickle, which is basically a thin slice of ginger with a pinch of salt and a sprinkle of lime juice, and fresh lime juice. And you eat that with meals. You can have it either right before a meal, about 15 minutes before a meal, to kind of spark up digestion. That's usually the time recommended to have it for Vata folks and folks with Vata type digestion. That's generally dry and weak. Or you could have it after a meal, which is generally recommended for kapha folks or folks with kapha aggravation, where they feel heavy and tired after eating, and sluggish. Eating the ginger lime pickle right after your meal can help to spark up the digestive fire and make sure that you're getting the most out of your food and support you in feeling energized and lighter after you eat. So fresh ginger in all these different forms is great. Trikatu is another herb that is renowned for pacifying kapha dosha. And so you can have Trick-or-Two in a number of different ways. You can take it in a little bit of hot water after your meals to basically do the same as the ginger lime pickle. And Trick-or-Two, by the way, is spelled Trikatu. Trick-or-Two it literally means three pungents. And so it's comprised of dry ginger, black pepper, and an Ayurvedic herb called pipali in equal proportions, all three of those mixed together. And it's recommended for kapha dosha, kapha types, and folks with kapha aggravation in general. And yeah, you can take it, like I said, after meals in a little bit of hot water. Start out with a 1/4 teaspoon, see how you do, in just a splash of hot water, and you can work your way up to maybe even 1/2 teaspoon if you feel like you need a little more. This one is very heating, so it's definitely going to aggravate pitta. It's going to be hot for pitta, and it's dry, so it's going to aggravate vata in that way. So it's really just an herb that's ideal for kapha folks or folks who have a lot of kapha aggravation. You can also mix it with some honey and take it before bed to alleviate congestion in the head. From an Ayurvedic perspective, kapha becomes the most aggravated overnight. While we're lying still, there's all this potential for mucus to accumulate in the head. And so usually those of us who struggle with sinus congestion can attest to the fact that it's usually the worst first thing in the morning when you wake up. And so taking the Trick-or-Two at night before bed will help to prevent that accumulation overnight. And you just kind of play with the ratio of Trick-or-Two to honey. Maybe start with a 1/4 teaspoon of Trick-or-Two and a teaspoon of honey and mix it up and take it before bed and see how you feel. If you notice signs of excess heat, heartburn, dryness, itchiness, a change in your bowels, moving toward diarrhea or loose stools, and then it's too much. You're using too much Trick-or-Two and back off and take a smaller dose. Black pepper is another great kapha pacifying herb that is also suitable for vata types, to just use that, in your cooking and kind of as a garnish on top of your food this time of year. Dandelion root, like we talked about for the previous conditions, will also be supportive in lightening up the congestion and sluggishness of digestion. And dry ginger, finally, dry ginger is also an herb that's really good specifically for kapha aggravation. It's too hot for pitta and too dry for vata. So, but if you have a lot of congestion in the head, you can take a teaspoon of dry ginger and boil it in 1 cup of water for 5 minutes and then drink it. And that will break up the congestion. You'll probably start to feel it instantaneously. That can be a nice medicine when I would normally recommend at the first signs of congestion to use a neti pot to clear the congestion out, keep things moving. If you missed that window and you're at the point where you can't even get the water to flow through your nose, your neti pot water to flow through the nostrils because it's so stuffed up, the ginger water can be a nice way to start breaking that up. And then as soon as it begins to feel looser, bring the neti pot in too and really get that flowing. So I hope this was useful. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and drop any comments or feedback that you have below. Thanks so much for tuning in.